Hi, welcome to this video on solving equations with unknowns on both sides. Pause the video now, take down these important notes, and you spend the rest of the video focusing on what's actually going on, focusing on the maths. So, assuming you've done that, we'll continue. And I've got two equations here. This video will rely on the fact that you can solve more simple equations. I do have a previous video on that, please have a look at it, otherwise have a look on Khan Academy or any other video on YouTube, but you do need to be able to solve basic equations before we can tackle solving with unknowns on both sides. Alright, so let's have a look at this. On this side, I have 5x plus 5 equals 3x plus 11. And the problem with this straight away, the difference between this and a normal equation, something like 2x plus 3 equals 9, is that I have an x value on both sides. Right? An x value on both sides kind of complicates my life, but not too badly. The basic equations were, they took 2 or 3 steps to solve. This might take an extra step, that's all. We've given you this body of knowledge, and then we want to extend you a little bit more. So all this is going to do is require us to do an extra step. And what I actually have to do is I have to group all of my unknowns onto one side, with all of my other things on the other side. So I need to have x this and x that equals a number this and a number that, okay? That's what I need. That's what I need to get to. And from there I can actually start solving it once I have that. So I'm going to make sure that I do what I do to one side, I do to the other. Right now, there's a question, do I move the 3x over to this side by subtracting 3x from both sides, or do I move the 5x over to this side by subtracting 5x from both sides? Now the problem with moving the 5x to this side, if I went minus 5x, 3x minus 5x is going to give me negative 2x. And I could work with negative 2x, there's no problem with that. But I don't want to have to work with that. It'd be much easier if I could just deal with positive numbers, especially positive coefficients of x. In other words, the number that's in front of x needs to be positive. That number is called the coefficient, by the way. It's much easier for me to work with that. It makes my life less complicated. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So here I get 5x minus 3x plus 5 equals 11. Because obviously this 3x and the negative 3x, that cancels. Alright, so now I'm going to collect these like terms, and at the same time, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. The reason I'm subtracting 5 is I want my x terms to be by themselves. So here I'm going to subtract 5, so they cancel, and 11 take away 5, that's going to give me 6. 5x minus 3x, that gives me 2x. Now, those of you looking at this and thinking, well, that's pretty easy, I can just do x equals 3, so I'm just dividing by 2. Absolutely fine. Also, some of you are thinking, well, I could probably do this in one step. I could have, at this point here, I could have subtracted 5 as well. Right? From both sides. That is totally fine. You could jump from this step here straight to that step there. Right? I could have done 5x minus 3x is 2x. And I take away 5, they'll clearly cancel. And then 11 take away 5 is 6. You can jump a step and you can skip that. I've put it in just so that we're clear on how I got from that step to this step. But if you want to jump a step, feel free to. I practiced first to see that you're getting them right, but if you are, please feel free to skip some steps. On this side here, I'm going to move my x's to one side. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move my x value to the other side there. And the reason I'm going to move it to that side is because that x there is bigger, right? And I'm going to avoid my negatives. So here, we're going to subtract 4x and subtract 4x from both sides. So 4x minus 4x, that's going to cancel. 7x, I'm going to just have 7x minus 4x plus 8 equals negative 2. Great. So on this side here, I'm going to now take away 8 and take away 8. So now I've got negative 2, take away a further 8, which is going to give me 10. Sorry, not 10, negative 10. And now I've got 7x minus 4x gives me 3x. And And now I simply divide by 3 on both sides, divide by 3 on both sides, and 10 divided by 3, negative 10 divided by 3 is actually negative 3 and a third, right, equals x. Right, now this answer is actually quite complicated. If you want, I could put in the previous step to show you how I got that. I'm dividing by 3, and I've got negative 10 over 3 equals x. And this I'm just converting. 3 goes into 10 3 times, and I'm left with 1/3 afterwards. Obviously it's still negative. That equals x. I put this in on purpose just to show you that it doesn't matter how complicated the answer gets, as long as you're following the procedure, you actually should have a reasonable answer there. Alright, so that's it for solving equations with unknowns on both sides. Grab the next video on solving equations involving fractions. Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you next time. Cheers.